Good evening. It is I, Roncar. It is my pleasure to be with you in this evening. And now that the feast of the Thanksgiving is over, now you can begin your holiday preparations. And some may think that celebrating in such a conspicuous way for Christmas, where you buy gifts and you plan parties and you do many different things, is something that should be avoided, that it is not holy, that it is not good, so to speak, that it is not religious, that it is a mistake in what you are doing. And you should be more solemn as you are approaching the holiday, which celebrates the birth of Jesus the Christ and his incarnation on earth. And that is not true. Anything you do to bring happiness to yourself, happiness to others, is a very valuable thing. And I appreciate the fact that you work very hard, some of you do, to bring about a Christmas that is happy and significant for many people. And I know within all those preparations that you do not forget that this is the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ, because there are too many Christmas carols reminding you of that all the time coming up soon. It is something you will be watching and listening to, and I am sure that you will continue to be in the Christmas spirit, but also the holiness of the season. It is also interesting for me to mention this to those of you who may not be aware of this, but of course there are other holiday seasons at this time of the year also. For not only is it the birth, celebrating the birth of Jesus the Christ, but it also, about this time of year, also celebrates Hanukkah, which is simply the feast of having the purification of the temple completed when there was only one day's supply of oil, and they were able to keep the lights burning. The oil lasted for a full 8 days. That was required for the cleansing. And of course, in your pagan worships, you come down to the Saturnalia, or the feast of the longest night, I guess. It's the shortest day. It's when the sun begins its trek across the sky to bring springtime. So although it is winter, what you are celebrating is the fact that the sun is returning in its full glory to bring about the spring, the plantings, the harvest, the growth during the summer, and the harvests that occur in the fall. It all starts in December, on the shortest day of the year. And of course, we celebrate the birth of Jesus the Christ, but we also celebrate the birth of Mithra, who was a god of ancient Rome. So there are many celebrations coming up at the end of the month, toward the end of the month. And afterwards, there's always the New Year celebration too. So it is a glorious time of year. And I hope that you celebrate it in whatever way that you celebrate it, and that you have fun, and that you have loving moments with family members and friends, and that you are happy in all ways. And so now, just with that little reminder to enjoy yourself, who will ask the first question?
Roncar.
I do have.
Yes.
It's okay, Linda.
Is that Lydia?
Yes. Hello, Roncar.
Hello, Lydia.
I actually today wrote my question, so I prepared good homework. My main question is, it's anything like enough information for spiritual growing? I'm asking this question only because lately I caught myself on the I've been tired to listening to different people of their way and looking for the spirituality.
Okay.
And I just would like to know how come I start to be not bored, but feeling enough. I don't want to hear other people's experience. Why is this happening to me?
Well, perhaps you are not finding other people's experiences relevant to your own life. Do you understand? When you listen to other people's experiences, you are supposed to learn something which helps you in your own life. But maybe these experiences that you have been told by other people are not helpful to you, and you cannot relate to them, and you cannot relate to them in your own life. Do you understand?
Yes, that's my, yes, exactly. Yes, so, because it wasn't frustrating. I was just curious. How come all of a sudden when I'm hearing, before I was very curious, and right now it's just doesn't ring the bell. It's like, maybe I should stop listening and just do my thing.
Well, that sounds like an excellent idea, to do your thing. Always some meditation is good, but if you like to use prayers, then of course use prayers. It doesn't matter what method you wish to find out answers to your questions. You can put these questions out. Writing them down is an excellent idea. And you can put these out to the universe and tell the universe, which is God. You may not think of it, but all the space that is around the earth and everything that exists is all been made from the substance of God's being. So therefore, these are all expressions of God, including yourself. And as such, you can communicate with this space, with God himself, by asking him your questions and saying, God, answer this question for me. And let God know that you wish to have an answer within the space of the day. That you would like the answer tomorrow when you sit in meditation, that you would like that answer to your question. And then the next day, as you sit in meditation or you are going into meditation, read the question and say that you are looking for the answer, please. And then meditate. And perhaps when you come out of meditation, you will have received that answer. If not, simply read the question again and say that you really need to know the answer. And put it forth that you want the answer within a day. The next day, at what time you are going to meditate, you need the answer. And you will find that these answers begin coming to you. Maybe the first one and the second one might be a little delayed, but the answers will begin coming to you, so you can understand whatever it is you need to know for your spiritual growth. And it is good not to just ask a question that is, what do I need to do for good spiritual growth? Because you know what to do. You need to meditate or sit quietly or think about God or read a religious book, a book that talks about God. There are many good ones, and you can progress in that way, in your own way, in your own time.
That makes so much sense. Thank you so much, because I used to be the person when I was questioning everything, and right now when I find my own peace, I'm just, yes, that's, thank you. Thank you so much.
You will
Can I
find
have
your
another?
own peace.
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. That's like I said, it wasn't just I've been bored with the information. I just find out I don't need to know anymore. I just, and that's why the question. Can I have another question?
Yes.
Are we choosing our departure from the Mother Earth and which way we're gonna go? Our soul, our spirit choosing that, or like we're choosing the parents, we're choosing reincarnation? Are we choosing how we're gonna live this real life?
Are you going to live this?
How we're gonna leave the earth? I mean, by the death, but are we choosing exactly? It's our decision to choose when we're leaving from here.
I understand your question. When you come into an incarnation, you do not choose a time of death. Say that I am going to die when I am 78 or 82 or something like that, in the spring of that year. No, you do not do that. But, and
Okay.
very often you do not choose the way of your passing into spirit. That it comes, it's not necessarily your choice. If you are ill, you have a sickness such as cancer, and you are becoming more and more debilitated, then frequently you have the ability to let go of life on the physical and to leave your body, but it's not something that's predetermined.
Okay. Okay. And when I'm still have a chance, I have one more question.
Yes.
I've been involved, and I will be for the years coming. My son, new family through the wife, they have two girls when they are very, very young in the family, 5 and 4. When the mother is not the picture because she was really involved with the drugs. When I spend the time with those girls, special, I'm very, very big empath. My heart is breaking when I look how they acting up, how they are craving, how they are hysterically, emotionally unstable. From my point of view, from me, like a person who is not involved with the raising them, but I will be very often seeing them. Any way I can not protect, but change something in my behavior when it's going to be beneficial for them and for me. So something when I can give them more on the same token, not take away from my emotions, because I came back after Thanksgiving and I was wiped out for 2 days from the emotions.
Well, what you should just do is give them love an acceptance of the way they are, um, to not criticize how they act. If you give them correction on the way to behave, that is okay, as long as you do it as saying there's a better way of doing this. And give them hugs and kisses and play with them and make a happy game. And in this way, your giving of love, acceptance, you will become more the focus in their life, and you are providing to them something that they need desperately, since you tell me the mother is involved with drugs. She is probably rather neglectful of these little girls.
Yes, definitely. It's not in the picture.
Right. So the best thing that you can do is love them, and to remember that when you love someone, you accept them as they are. And so that you don't criticize, correct very gently, that, say please, remind them of their manners, teach them manners nicely, and to let them know things like, well, when you ask me nicely, then I'd like to give you things. I'd like to answer you nicely. So let's ask me that question again nicely, or ask me for that candy or that soup or whatever else it was they were trying to get from you. Remind them to ask you nicely and say please, and then give it to them.
Okay, because like I said, my emotion was just all over the place. It's because I'm looking from the point of view, mother point of view, how much they are neglected, and I feel so crushed when I look on that pain in their behavior.
And remember, it is or was their choice in this incarnation to come to that mother. And so
yes.
It is your opportunity to bestow love on these people, these two children. You cannot provide for them in all ways. You cannot adopt them. I do not believe you wish to do that. But when you see them, you can be kind, you can be loving, you can be a role model, you can give them that. And you can pray for them.
Okay,
when
yes.
you are not with them.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
That is true. Yes. That you know
Yes.
that these two little girls are getting the attention they need, that they are learning what they need to learn, that they have the food that they need to eat, that they have affection and love from the people around them. And you can affirm all these things, and that is the prayer that you will say, that you love these children, that these children are loved, and they are sheltered, and they are helped, and they are guided, and they are inspired, and that they are going to grow into happy, healthy adults.
Thank you so much, Roncar. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Now, other questions from someone else?
Roncar, yes.
Yes.
I have knocked on many, many doors in my life, and my path seems to be refocusing. I've been given prophecy in the past of a mission or something that I'm supposed to do. Can you help me with clarity on what is that path that seems to be unrolling in front of me?
that you are unaware of or you are aware of?
I'm aware of it. I guess I'm questioning it. I'm wondering, am I imagining this?
Well, it is always difficult when you have a psychic who says to you, well, I'm psychic and I see you walking on a pathway. You have a special mission. And of course, they cannot tell you what that pathway is or what that special mission is. So that leaves you wondering. And I suggest you just forget that statement and go on with your life to do the things that you like to do. You will probably find at some point that indeed you had embarked on a pathway. You did it without realizing it. And when you look back, you can see it. That, yes, this is a new way for me to think and act, or a new focus in my life. That I have always been in this one focus, but I have broadened it and I've changed it, and now it is subtly different. But I realize I am on a new path, learning new things, trying new things, and doing new things. And that is the best way. I do not wish to tell you either that clarity of that you are seeking. You have an inkling of the pathway. And so you can try it out.
That
And
sounds
if you
lovely.
don't like it, you can just say, I'm not doing this anymore. And I am going to go back to just what I did before. And as I said, you will probably find yourself on a pathway at some point in time, not one that you deliberately thought of. You are accustomed to being a woman who is in charge of herself and takes responsibility and does things. But in this case, you will still do this, but you will do it without realizing. And then you will have your pathway. Try the one that you have an inkling of. See if you like it. And if you don't like it, back off and just go
Let
live
it
your
go.
life. You see, the most important thing in any life, the pathway for every life, is very much the same. It is being the best person that you can be.
Yes.
And bringing yourself happiness and giving love to others and sharing yourself with people, but it is in loving others and in doing and in serving and in making yourself happy. You are not supposed to serve in a way that makes you a doormat for someone else. You are not supposed to do things that hurt yourself. You are supposed to make yourself happy. But at the same time, your happiness can enrich the world as it has already done. You have been on a pathway, on a road, on a mission, and you have done good. And now you can continue, you can change through a new pathway. It is entirely up to you, as long as it is something you want to do, makes you happy.
I love that. Thank you.
It
Thank you
is
so
very
much.
easy. Happiness is the clue. If I am doing something that makes me unhappy, I better find out something else to do, a better way of doing it, or reassess my own thinking.
Yes, 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 yes. My heart rejoices at this answer because that's exactly
Yes,
feeling right now. Thank you.
you are
And
most welcome.
one more question
Yes.
is that I felt that I was finished with relationship in my life. And yet I have a distinct feeling that there is someone walking toward me. And I don't know, am I imagining this? Is it a yearning or an imagination, or is it I don't know. Is there
An
anything
interesting
that you see?
question. Yes, just a moment, please. It is interesting that you thought that you were done with a relationship in your life. Relationships in our life are all we have. They are eternal. You always have a relationship in your life, and you know that to be true. You know you cannot avoid any relationship. However, relationships come in a variety of sizes and types. And so I was just being a little bit, I do not know what word I used to use, but in pointing out to you the error of the generalization of saying that you were done with relationships, because relationships follow you always. They are the essence of your life on earth. And to have a good life, you need to have relationships. So when we are talking relationships, I think you were thinking of a romantic relationship.
Yes.
But as I look at that in your life, I see possibilities. So your impression of having someone walking to you is part of that recognition that I am attractive and I am desirable, and I can bring people. The relationship is a possibility for me. So I will not say that someone is walking toward you. I can only indicate that there are people around you with whom a romantic relationship could develop. And if that is a need in your life, you will probably enjoy it, and you should not reject it should it present itself to you, but it will come in its own way. And like that new pathway, it is best found by not looking for it.
I love that.
Yes.
Lovely.
To find things you want by not looking for them.
Not looking for
them. They just show up in your life. And then you'll know that this is what I was feeling.
Thank you.
You are most welcome. Are there other questions?
I'll jump in.
Yes.
I want to talk about the ego.
Okay.
I had an interesting experience, and I'm convinced that it was from my higher self because it just came out of me. I was with a coworker. He doesn't want my help, and I get it. And I offered help. It ended up backfiring. And later on, he, was behaving very cold towards me and whatnot. And I didn't think it was exactly professional. And then he made a statement to me that I didn't appreciate in a pretty harsh tone. And I, spoke to management about it. And, I got literally in his face, which was really stupid on my part. And this is not the first time that has happened in a different work environment, but nonetheless, and they can see it on tape. And, it's going up to HR. And then I had an epiphany, and I'm saying, first of all, you're not listening to instruction. You were told he doesn't want your help. Leave him alone. Even though, you think you're benefiting him, in the long term, you're really not, and you're hurting your relationship, not just with, potentially with management. And then I said, well, good. I hope they write me up, because then it'll get through my thing. But if I go through that statement coming out of mouth, that like out of nowhere, like I knew not to jump in. I was just, telling him that there was something available back that he could sell to this customer. It was a trivial thing when you look at it. But then I'm like, for this, because I'm not responsible for this man. I'm not responsible for other people. My ego was bruised because he knows far more than me. I mean, I'm used to being the kingpin. Guy can run circles around me because of his background. So my question to you is this: did my higher self bring that statement out in order to facilitate the growth opportunity that I had to look inward and say, you really got to get a control of this, in that, attitude of gratitude, you have a lot going for you, and humble yourself, and it's irrelevant what this man knows compared to you. There's plenty to go around. I'm always, don't come from a place of lack. There's enough for everyone. If you feel that you're holding back, or like two guys have a pizzeria. Oh, well, the guy's across the second business because he's across from me. And Abe's example was there's enough for both. You have to go in with the attitude. And that's the same thing with me. I've built up a loyal following. Not everyone knows his background. And so, again, my question is, did that come from my higher self, that I opened up my mouth stupidly so that I can have this growth potential? Thank you.
Well, what's important is that you are looking at it as the growth potential that you needed, because you did not, you knew that your help would not be accepted, and you did it anyway. So you see with clarity that I shouldn't have done this, and I should be more sensitive to other people in this type of situation in the future. That is your opportunity for growth, and you saw it and you took it. So now, if you have benefited from this experience, it doesn't matter whether it came to you from your higher self. Your higher self would not have made you make a stupid mistake such as that. And you are the one who is calling it stupid, I believe. That it could be your ego, because you saw something that there was a potential to do, sell this other product instead, and you spoke up, I assume, quietly to someone else, or to him quietly, so that he could continue to make the sale. That this was what you were doing. Your higher self would not have brought that to you to do, to have you learn the lesson. It was simply that you are smart in the ways of selling, and you know how to listen to people's needs, and you know how to both show them what they think they need, as well as what you believe they are really needing or they really want. You are a good salesperson because you listen well and you show these things. So I do not know, I could not understand from your conversation or your discussion whether you are in competition with this gentleman in some way or not, but it is good that you recognize that this is something you should not have done and left it alone. I think you used the phrase, and probably what happened is the same as what would have happened. and nothing changed. So you didn't cause anything, but possibly him making a complaint about you, and why anyone would make a complaint that someone was offering a helpful piece of advice to me and I didn't like it. Therefore, I got insulted. It does not seem rational to me. But if that is the way it is, then that is the way it is.
No, what happened was I suggested something in the back that was in an unusual place. It didn't belong there. And I told him it was available to be sold. Apparently, he went to a supervisor back there asking about it because it was an unusual spot. And I can understand why he asked. And the individual said that it wasn't available to be sold, that this was already spoken for, even there's no tag on it. And later on, come to find out, of course, it took 24 hours, unfortunately, but it was available to be sold. And I think my ego was hurt when he questioned me telling him something, and the computer showed clearly that it was available to be sold. This gentleman wanted to take a product home that day, and I was able to tell my coworker, "Hey, we have one in the back. You know, it's in such and such location." And I think I shouldn't say that he doesn't come across misogynist, but he definitely is egocentric. There's no doubt. He knows his stuff. He struts on the floor like a peacock, and I think that also rubbed me wrong when he first got into the department. So my ego was like flaring up, and he was bro this and bro that, and when he's around the guys, he's very different than when he's around me. But that also makes sense in today's work environment. Men have to be really guarded around women because of all the harassment charges. And I totally get it. And of course, you know, here I'm complaining and I'm feeding that beast, if you will. And you know, there was another incident, you know, a month and a half ago, I guess, with this individual saying to the effects of, keep her away from me. And then later on, when I asked him about it, he said that it wasn't me. It was a customer following him in the aisles. And I thought, what the hell's that about? You know, I really do believe it was regarding me. Like he would rather work with just men, I guess. I'm not sure. But he disparages what I say to the customers. And he's also stepped them off of what I've recommended, you know, to kind of undermine me. He claims that he's benefiting me by, oh, I'm upselling them. And I recommended something else that you made more money on. And I'm like, that's the cardinal rule of sales, is that you never allow the stepping of a product after a salesperson sold it. You don't disparage it, even if you don't like it, you know, because that makes that person weak. Like we weren't taking care of the customer properly. It has a lot of undertones
excuse me,
of unprofessionalism, you know.
But your question is, and I prefer to just answer your question than listen to these examples, is yes,
Yeah.
it is your ego that is disturbed by this. Okay. It is your ego that is disturbed by this, because you have just enumerated a number of circumstances where you felt he disparaged you in front of customers, that he didn't take your advice in this particular incident that you mentioned. And so, and it seems like he wants to keep his distance from you, and you should just accept that. And as you are saying, it is a growth opportunity to accept this rejection from this man in this way. Keep your distance. Why irritate yourself with this, and why cause yourself problems with this man? Let him be, and don't try to help him. He doesn't want your help, and we do not know or understand these things, but it is clear he does not want your help, and he doesn't want you close to him, because it's better you keep a distance than when you make a sale, he has no opportunity to disparage you. I hope he doesn't do that in front of your customers, but perhaps he does, in which case you want to keep the distance. It's to your advantage. And you can continue on in your life in a happy mood instead of being upset by a man who is, however he is. I cannot think of nice words to describe him. And
I think he's autistic.
Yes,
I mean,
well, the unnice words we do not need to use. So you just keep your distance and go on with your life and just let this go. Don't think about it anymore. Just know that you are going to serve your customers' needs. You are going to help your customers far better than he does. And that is all you have to think of to soothe your ego.
right, right. No, it's a good lesson, Roncar. And if I do get written up, I'll sign it. I don't normally like to, but I think this time it's deserving, and it is that which it is. I keep getting a sense also that he's not going to be with us long. That he actually said that he put in his 2-week notice, and then I guess he retracted it. He never wrote it up formally. Do you see him leaving anytime in the future?
I'm not going to look into that because it does not help you. You just need to move ahead in your own pathway, keeping your distance from him,
Yes.
taking your turn with your customers and giving your customers the good advice and the good service that they need, and just continue on in that way.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
You're
as
welcome.
always.
Are there other questions?
Okay, I'll ask one.
Yes.
Roncar, I've gone through a lot spiritually. And I'm at a crossroads and don't know what way I need to go. Is there any way to figure that out?
Well, I'm not sure what this regards for you. Is it concerning your work or business, or is it other life choices?
It's other life choices.
Other life choices. And you feel you are at a crossroads. Meaning, I need to understand a little bit more fully, and this is very little for me to find in your life.
I'm talking about my spiritual.
Excuse me?
I'm referring to my spiritual growth and which way I'm headed, and
okay,
not sure about that.
I believe you are happy where you are at.
Yeah.
And you feel no impulse to change it.
Well, I have an impulse to change it, but I'm not sure how I want to change it.
Well, frankly, if you are doubtful if you want to change it, then I would assume that you truly do not want to change it, because it would be clear, abundantly clear, if you wanted to change your status.
Right. I think it's not so much, do I want to change it now or do I want to wait and change it later? Is where I am at, I believe.
Oh, you think it is a matter of timing?
Yes.
All right. You know, Spirit is not, we are not very good at timing. One moment, please.
Yes, I know. If you want me to do it, I'm doing it.
As near as I can tell, if it is that decision to continue your spiritual studies, to change your position in the church from deacon to minister, it isn't going to matter when you do it. Whether you choose to wait for whatever reason, you just need to make the choice.
Right.
And it's okay to choose not to make that change at this time, because it will require more of your time invested in doing things at the church.
Right.
And so I see it as an issue of how much time do you wish to give to the church?
Right.
You are still working. You are not retired, is that correct?
I am now retired, yes.
Right. And so work demands time. If you make this commitment, this will also demand time.
Okay.
And do you have the time to give? And
Okay.
what is the question that you want to ask yourself? It may not be appropriate to do it now because of time issues.
Okay.
Because you will not be able to give as much time now as you will be able to give later. And so that is the issue for you to consider.
Okay.
And I hope that will help you to make a decision.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there other questions? Yes?
Yeah, Roncar, one thing I just want to ask, because you were kind of alluding to what I've read from this individual. Is he ever a potential physical, or my coworker, would he ever be a threat to me? Verbally is one
No.
thing, but I mean physically, is he capable of anything? He seems to be
No.
mouthing a lot to others, I'm told.
Pardon? Excuse me?
He was mouthing off to others, and I've heard his rhetoric with me about people, his bravado, if you will. I just want to make sure that I'm safe both physically from this individual and
You're physically safe from this individual because words cannot hurt you.
yeah, I'm talking about other actions, like,
I understand
one,
that. I understand you are talking about other actions.
yeah.
Will not take those actions.
Oh, good. I mean, I hope in some way he understands that I'm actually just trying to help him, but
Yes,
I get
but
it.
do not try to help him
No, I know. I
anymore.
won't.
Keep
I
your
won't.
distance and do
I
not
will.
offer any help. And therefore, he will have no reason to get angry with you.
Yeah. Lastly, my aunt just passed, Nancy Kaufman. I'm going to give a call to her son in a few minutes or tomorrow. Is there anything that you can have me pass on to the family?
Well, this family is very traditional, are they not?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that you can just affirm, well, I will confirm for you that she has a successful passing, that she is now comfortably part of God. And you understand that your aunt's family may not. So in your own way, it is simply for you to express that you know that this has happened in your own terms, in your own religious ways.
Mhm. Yeah, she was a devout Christian and very much a part of her church. My cousin, his father passed when he was young. His father has come to me numerous times. Matter of fact, my youngest is named after him. And Kenny was telling me that his father never came to him. Not that he doesn't have a belief system per se, and maybe Jerome showed up in some manner that Kenny just dismissed in turn because he was looking for something like that. So I was just curious how she's making out, and I'm sure Jerome was there for her and other loved ones as well.
Yes, as happens when you enter into spirit. And you can comfortably say that she is in heaven.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You are most welcome. Now, are there any other questions? Well, there is just a great deal of silence out there, so I assume there are no other questions for this evening. So I give you all my blessings. It is time for me to say good night. So I give you all my blessings. Good night.
Thank you, Roncar. By the way, Raymond had a good first day at work today. I want to pass it on. Thank you.
I am back. So it's my turn to say good night. And remember, I love you all. Good night.
Good night.
Good night and thank you.